we are seeing is we are seeing how the supplier creation happens, right? And we'll see both the type of supplier. Okay, prospective also we'll see, and spend authorized we also see, and we'll do practical also, right? Not today, but tomorrow for sure. Right? So let's log in with Cassie Boyle. Right. Now, how do you create a supplier in the system? Go to Procurement tab, click on Procurement. Under this, you see this supplier. Click on this, right? So there are two types of supply creation process, guys, which is there. One is known as your internal registration. That means, right, you are creating the supplier on his behalf. That means this is just like, right, let's say, right, you reach out, right, HR reach outs to you, correct, for a particular, let's say, right, a job opportunity in their company, right? They ask your basic details, right, and they fill your details on their behalf. Sorry, they fill your details, right, on your behalf into the system, correct. What happens is they will ask your name, right, other details at the same time, right, where you are working, what is your current package, right, what is your notice period. These are some basic details which are being asked, correct, and they register yourself, right? They register your details into the system on your behalf, correct? This is known as your internal registration, which is there. Other option which is there is, right, HR can give you a link, right? Okay, this is a link where you can apply, right? Give your all the details, right? That is known as your external registration. Okay, same thing happens in cloud also, guys, right? What happens is you can have two types of registration. One is known as your internal registration. That means, right, you are registering, right, the supply, you are giving the supply details altogether, right, and getting the supply registration. At the same time, you can have external registration also, right, where supplier will register himself, correct. That's a two difference which is there. So first which we are seeing is your internal registration, guys. Direct question comes in interview, what is your internal registration, what is your external registration? Both are very important, guys. So first we are seeing is when I'm registering supplier, right, on his behalf, that means I have the details of the supplier, right, and I am saving the details in the system. Do remember that. Okay, how can you do is click on this task icon. You see this create supplier which is there. Click on this, right? So let's take a supplier, right, and let's create it up. So I'm just taking a normal wording, right? ZXY supplier private limited. Okay. So this is the supplier company, right? Now, if you see, as I told, right, supplier can be anything, correct? It can be your specifically, right? You can be a corporation, it can be a foreign agency, right? It can be an individual, it can be a partnership company, right? Right? It can be a government agency, it can be even a foreign government agency also, right? So it can be anything, guys. Here is a place where you select, right? If you see, right, in your market also, right? Let's say, right, if you want specifically cement, right, you'll find multiple suppliers which are there, right? Many times you would have seen hoardings also which are there, right? This private limited, this private limited, right? So they're a company which is there. Let's say today me and Srini open a company, correct? May happen, right? It's a partnership company which we might open, correct? Point to note here, guys, multiple companies are there, right? At the same time, you have single players also which are there. You would have seen local builders are there, right? They do not have a brand name, right? But they are local builders which are available. Point to note, guys, is this is nothing but depends, right? What type of company it is there, right? What type of supplier it is there, correct? Also, as I told you, have two types of supplier. Perspective is nothing but your initial supplier. Do remember, prospective has less access as compared to spend authorized. There's no rule that you have to first create the supplier as prospective then and spend authorized, nothing like that. You can directly create the supplier as spend authorized also, that is also possible, right? Prospective supplier are your initial suppliers, right, from which I'm getting initial deals which are there, correct. They generally participate in your RFQ cycles, right, and quotation, correct. But spend authorized has a more access, right? For them you can directly create purchase order, right, directly create requisitions also into the system. So we'll go line by line. First, we'll see prospective. And let's say this is a corporation, right? This is a corporation company, correct? Click on create button. I am choosing one of the random name, guys, ZXY, right? You can choose any of the company name, right? So what will it do is, as soon as click on create button, I'll be going and navigating to the supply creation screen where I have to supply the other details which are related to the supply, right? So let's see that. Now to give you more example, if you see Horlicks is one of the supplier, correct. Now Horlicks and Boost, right, are both the child company of parent company Unilever, right? Unilever is the parent company. They manufacture many products. They manufacture Horlicks also. They manufacture host your this thing also, right? Correspondingly, right, Boost also is manufactured by them, right? They manufacture Move also, right? So many, right, they have sub products which are there, right? These are all your sub companies which are there. Here if you see, as soon as I click on create button, right? I have been associated a supplier number. Just like your employer number is there, right? This is nothing but a sequential number which is followed in the company, correct? So as soon as you create one more supply, it will be 1801, 02, 03, and this will continue, guys. Okay, right? Right now we are creating a prospective supplier first. That's why the business relationship is known as prospective, right? Now here, if you see, you have a field which is known as your parent supplier. What is the significance of a parent supplier? Let's say if this supplier is nothing but a child company of some other company, right? If you take an example, Horlicks, right? That is a parent supplier, right? And sorry, am I bad, right? Unilever, if you take an example, right? They are a parent supplier having two child supplier which are there. One is your Horlicks and one is your Boost. So let's say if whenever I'll be creating Horlicks here as one of the supplier, parent supplier will be nothing but your Unilever which is there. This is just like, let's say I open a company, right? I open a company basically for t-shirts initially, correct? Now my business went very fine, right? Now I want to introduce jeans and caps also. So what I did is, my company name was, let's say, Varun company, right? Then I distributed the company into one Varun 1, Varun 2, right, all together, right? And into my children's all together, right? For one Varun 1, for other for Varun 2 all together, right? Point to note here, guys, Varun 1 and Varun 2 are nothing but the child company of the parent company, right? That is nothing but Varun which is there, right? This is very common which is there, right? If you see, Tata has many companies which are there. Tata Mart is there, right? 1MG is there, right? These are all their sub companies which are there, right? Different individual business are being carried out. So here also same thing can happen, guys, right? So you can attach your parent supplier if you have a parent company. Here you have an alternative name which is there. This is something which is optional because generally companies never changes their name so frequently, but it may happen. If you take a very common example, Hero Honda, right? Initially Hero and Honda were same company, right? It was a single company which was there, right? If you remember the Splendor bikes which used to come, it used to have a wording as Hero Honda altogether on that. Now after a point of time, this two got distributed. Honda got distributed separately, Hero got distributed separately, right? So you never see right now it is different, right? Hero bikes is different, Honda bikes are different altogether, correct? Activa is a product of Honda, right? It's not a product of Hero, right? Hero has other bikes which are there. Point to note, you guys, right? So generally, right, alternative name is given for an option where you can have an alternative name of a company. So tomorrow, let's say ZXY is changing their name, right? In that case, you can utilize this field, correct? This is always editable at any point of time, but it generally never happens. Let's say I open a company, right? I'll not be daily basis changing the name of the company, right? No one will does that, right? That is something which is very optional. If you see, right, this is your internal registration. That's why you see the creation source as manual, right? What is the creation date? It is today's date because I'm creating it today, correct? Scroll down, right? Here is a place where you can give your this particular supplier's organization details. So when it was established, what is his mission, right? Who is the chief executive person, principal name, right? Who's the principal title for this? You see this, all these fields are optional, right? It's not mandatory. What is their fiscal year revenue, right? Everything's I can enter, right? Do remember, right? It depends, right? If you see, none of the field is mandatory. So if you have the corporate details of the supplier, you can supply it up, right? But hardly this matter for me. What is his years of establishment, right? Let's say, right, Srini is my supplier, right? What is his mission? What is his year of incorporation? I hardly matter for me. For me, what matters is give me the item. That matters a lot for me, correct? But if you want to give these details, you can give that. Then comes your business classification, obviously, right? What type of business it is there, whether it's a woman owned business, whether it's an ISO zone business which is there, right? Whether it's a veteran business, right? What type of business it is there, right? So here is a place where you can have classify this particular business, correct? So click on plus sign, right? Whether it's a small owned business, whether it's an hub zone which is there, correct? Anything can be there. Okay, just give me a minute. So here if I select classification, right? You see this hub zone is there, right? Minority owned business, small business, is it a woman owned business, it's a kids business, right? You can select it up. So let's say, right, I'll choose it's a small business, right? And you have your certifying agency. This is just like, let's say when I create my IT company, right? Or when I organize my IT company, right? I will have a registration, right? Which will be there, right? And there will be a certifying agency, right? Who will provide me the certificate, right? So here is a place, right? Where you can give the detail who was the certifying agency. This is just like, let's say builders are there, right? They get themselves registered, right? Let's say property.com is there, one of the company, correct? Your small hubs is there, right? Your magic bricks are there, right? right? It's not like that they have just opened a company directly into the market. No, they have a registered organization, right? They have a registered certificate which is there. So here is a place where you can give the certificate detail, right? And who was the certifying agency which was there, correct? Let's say a chemist opens a shop. He does not open it directly. Many times you would have visited a chemist shop, right? You will see a certificate hanging in a shop, right? Just with the counter. Why it is there is because he's showing that yes, I'm a registered chemist, which is there, right? So here you can give the details, right? And if you can want to create a certifying agency, you can create it also directly. That is option available. Save the details so that you do not miss it, right? So click on save. Then comes this, right? What type of products are given by the supplier? So let's say, right, I'm saying this, he will supply me, right, your computer accessories, right, laptops, right? So remember, right, we created categories, the item categories, right? That's the reason now the things will become much easier for you, right? Why we studied each module line by line. Now, if you see right here is a place where you can attach your categories, correct? What items is given? So let's say I'm seeing this person gives me computer supplies, right? All the computer related items, right? Click on OK. If he's giving printer also, that also you can select. Any other office supplies is given by him, that also you can select. Multiple categories can be there, right? Because a supplier might give me t-shirt, jeans, other items, right, at the same time, right? These are the things which are there. Once you click on save button, right, so your profiles are been given, right? Comes to your address. This is nothing but your supplier address which is there. Obviously supplier is a company, then obviously they will have an address. That is very much important for me to know. Let's say there is any issue, whom to reach out, right? Where to go for the address, right? The supplier address is needed for me. Click on plus sign. Let's create one address in the system. Okay, so click on the plus sign. Let's give the address, right? So let's say I'm just choosing one of the random address, guys, right? Heisenberg Street. Okay. So I'm choosing US address, right? You can choose any of them. Okay, I'm just choosing that this is a US brand, right? And their address is of US. Okay, so I'll choose the country, correct? Click on OK button, right? Heisenberg Street, US, right? Now, what is the purpose of this particular address, right? So whether I do any ordering here, right, whether I'm using this particular only for payment purpose, right, whether it's for RFQ purpose where the bidding is done by this particular supplier, right, you can choose what is the purpose of it, right? If you see, right, generally whenever you go to service center, right, they have a separate space which is there, right, where only the payment has been received, right? There's a separate space. Let's say if I'm a dockyard company, right, where all the shipment has been done to the dockyard, right, I might have a specific location, right, where the ordering will be done, right? I can have a specific location where RFQ or the bidding will be done, right? So I can select it here accordingly. Once these details have been supplied by you, click on save button so that you can start creating and having the address attached to this particular supplier. Click on save and close. So what has happened is, right, your address has got created. Do remember, one supplier may have multiple addresses also, right? Why not, right? I can have multiple offices also, right? It's not like I will always have only one office, right? Multiple office can be there, correct? At the same time, you see this contact details is there. Click on this, right? Here is a place where you can give the contact person details, right? This is just like, let's say in your Amazon, right? What happens is Amazon is a supplier, right? Will be giving the goods. In that case, if any issue arises, you do not contact the CEO of the company, right? On your corresponding, right, Amazon contact person is given to you, right? Whom with you chat, right? And tell your issues, right? Same thing happens here also, right? This company might be giving goods to multiple folks, right? So CEO does not have to pitch each and every time. What this company do is they have specific contact person, right? So here is a place where you can have your supplier contact. Do remember, supplier is different, supplier contact is different. It's a specific person within the company. Let's say if I want to have a fridge or refrigerator, right, what I can do is, right, I go to Reliance Smart, right? Every time the entire office will not come to serve me, right? They will have a contact person, right? There will be a specific boy or delivery, oh sorry, a specific owner boy which will be there, right, who will come to me, right, ask what is my requirement. These are nothing but the contact peoples which are there, correct? So here is a place you can create it up, right? So you have to give your contact details here, right? So this is nothing but your supplier contact which is there. Okay, so let's, right, create one with the name as Ram Prasad, right? I'm choosing a random name, guys, you can choose anything, right? So let's say, right, this is a Ram Prasad person which is there, who is a supplier contact within the company. Okay, Now what I'll do is, right, obviously, right, let's say, right, I'm creating a supplier contact, right? So whenever I want to create a purchase order requisition, right, related to this particular supplier contact, right? So this guy also needs to have a user account, correct? Just like a buyer has a user account. Right now you are logged in with Cassie Boyle, SCM, IMPL, right? These guys have user accounts. So obviously supplier also needs to have a user account, right? So if you want to have the user account, right, related to the supplier, click on create user account. Okay, right? As soon as you click on create user account, right, if you see some of the roles have got attached to this particular supplier, right? You see this, all of the roles which have got attached to him, correct? Now if you want to delete any of the role, you can do that, right? If you want to have any of the rules, or right, you can do that. These are nothing but all your standard roles which are there. So always remember, direct question comes in an interview, right? Whenever you create a supplier contact, right, automatically all the default roles which are there, these are standard roles which are there. If you have any custom role also, you can add it up, right? This plus sign is always available in front of you, right? These are all the major roles which are required from supplier end of point of view, right? So let's say, right, you see the supplier bidder, right, who will participate in negotiation cycle. Sales representative from the potential supplier responsible for responding to the quotation, proposals, requests for information, reverse auctions which are there, right? Bidder is the role required for it. So let's say if you want to do bidding through this, right, you want to have the quotation being sent, right? Who will respond to this quotation? You have to have these roles which are there, right? Supply sales representative, he manages all the agreement deliverables, right, for the company, right, including all the acknowledgement request changes in the agreement, right, will be taken care for them. Okay, do remember that. So once the details have been supplied by you, click on save button, right, and save and close. So what it will do is it will create the contact details in the system for you. Oh sorry, email address I forgot. So just for time being, I'll give dummy address, right? I remove the fax here. Okay, click on save, right? So what it do is it will save my details which are there, right? And save and close, right? So what has happened is, right, my supplier has been